survey commissioned by Pharmacodynamics and done by our very own Health24 set out to find out what makes South Africa's blood boil. Now, why did we want to know this? Well, joining me in studio is Mariska van Aswegen from Pharmacodynamics, and she's going to tell us why this is so important. Hello.
Nice to see you again.
It's nice to see you again.
Yes.
I see you're wearing red for heart health.
For heart health,
yes.
Heart Awareness Month.
Oh, I don't have red shoes on. I thought I did, but I don't. All right, so we set out to find what makes South Africa's blood boil. What annoys us on a day-to-day? About 1,300 people responded to the survey.
That's
is that correct?
Yes.
Now, is there anything about the survey that surprised you?
I think what came out of the survey that's quite important is that it's mostly other people that affects our day. It's mostly what other people do that affects our day, and that can get our blood boiling. And I think the important part of that message is, first and foremost, we must realize that we affect the person next to us, and that we must find ways to deal with these frustrations, because the people who took part in the survey said that about 40% of the people who said that they are affected by these everyday annoyances allow that incident to affect them for a longer period of time. And that is where the health risks come in, is if our natural stress response system is activated and stays activated for a prolonged period of time, it can start to affect our health, our hearts, our blood pressure, etc.
Wow, I want to talk about how it affects our health in just a moment. But talk me through some of these everyday annoyances that the survey found people were bothered by, but maybe we don't realize we're getting bothered by these things every day and they're actually affecting our health.
I think if we look at the top 5, there are no surprises really there if we think that the taxi drivers actually came out top on the list of annoyances, and I think most people can relate to that. Being South African, the load shedding issues that we are experiencing, that was number 5 on the list. But I think in between, if we look at the number 2, 3 and 4 that were identified by the people who responded to the survey, was people being rude. People, pushing in line where you are queuing for a specific service, and people just not generally saying thank you or please. And so it's small things that you wouldn't really think that would annoy people in general, but by the results of the survey.
Well, a lot of those things happen on a daily basis, I think, for a lot of us. How does this affect our health?
As I mentioned earlier, stress in general lead to our body reacting via our natural stress response. And that includes releasing certain hormones, like for instance adrenaline, and there are other hormones as well. But if we just look at adrenaline specifically, it affects your heart rate, it increases your heart rate, it activates this flight or fight reaction in our bodies. And it's this increase in heart rate that over the long period or longer run can increase our blood pressure as well, if we expose our bodies to that stress hormone over a prolonged period of time.
Well, it seems like we can't really get away from taxis and load shedding. So how do we monitor our heart health? How do we make sure these everyday occurrences don't affect us in the long run?
The best advice that we can give people is to firstly identify what it is that gets your heart rate going, what it is that makes you see red. Because if we realize and identify those stressors, we can look for ways to deal with them proactively before they happen. Find techniques and develop techniques for you as an individual that will allow you to relax. And you may still experience that stress, you may still be annoyed by that taxi driver, but by implementing these different techniques, you can prevent it from affecting your health or your stress, from activating your stressors and your body's natural stress response for a longer period of time. So find what relaxes you, find the calm within the chaos, if I can call it that, and practice those techniques when you are exposed to those stressors.